Hello and welcome to episode 39 of the Read Between podcast, the improvised storytelling podcast where we take the internet's weirdest suggestions and turn them into weird, wacky, and crazy stories through the power of improv. I'm one of your co-hosts, Evan.
I'm Lynn. I'm your other co-host. There's a kitty knocking around on my legs.
There is a cat. There's a cat in the studio basement.
She saw us and was like, "What you doing?" and came down and was like, "I'm here."
Yes, Bingo, our one cat, is ready to join us for episode 39 of Read Between.
She has jumped on my lap during recording.
She has.
Before,
Yeah,
so.
she does. That's not an unknown thing.
Right. Yeah.
So 39 episodes, Lynn. Huh, crazy, huh?
I feel like nowadays, whenever we start an episode, your first thing to do is, "Oh, so we're at this number of episodes, Lynn, huh?"
I know.
Huh?
It's just crazy to think that we've made it this far. It's just nuts.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not that I didn't think it wouldn't happen, but it is cool that we stuck with it, and it's like a hobby, and we have like 2 other podcasts.
Yes, it's 2 other podcasts. Yeah, we haven't talked about that mysterious third one on this show yet, have we?
No, we have talked about it on Nostalgia Cops that did release on Friday.
Yes.
So maybe some people know about it if they listen to both podcasts.
So for those who didn't listen to Nostalgia Cops this past weekend, we've come up with a third podcast now. I know, crazy. We start one, you end up with 3.
I mean, I have a whole section in my notes in my phone where I'm like podcast ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm crazy.
Yeah. So this new podcast is called Freshly Screened. It is a casual film review podcast where we will watch a movie either in theaters or at home, and then give you our instant feedback / reaction on the movie. If we go out to a theater, we'll record a preview, what we expect to see from the movie beforehand, and then after the movie, like on the car ride home or sitting in the parking lot, we'll give you our review of the film and let you know exactly what we thought of it. It's going to be real off the cuff, not really, not really organized or professional in any sense, but just giving you our honest.
We're gonna be recording it from a phone.
Yeah, pretty much. We're gonna be using Anchor to record and distribute it, so it'll still come out on all the major podcast services, but it's gonna be really simple and really kind of really off the cuff and simple. So expect an episode of that in the next week or 2. We've been thinking of films we want to do for the first episode. We haven't really landed on one yet, but there's a lot of movies coming out in the next few weeks that we want to check out. So
yeah, and I'm sure it'll happen. It's just been busy, and we haven't had time to but we haven't had time to record. So
yeah,
we'll get to it. It's just a matter of finding the right movie.
Yeah, as we were talking about before we got started, we said that we finally ended our backlog of stuff that we had to be able to cover us in case anything happened. So
yeah, now we got to start a new one.
Yeah, but that's okay.
The holidays are coming up.
That's okay. Holidays are coming up. We want to make sure we have time to spend with our families and we're not spending our time podcasting all the time.
Yeah. So if we get it done in the first half of this month, that means that I won't have to worry when my mom's birthday hits and then Thanksgiving hits.
Yep.
Because that's all in 1 week.
Yeah. So that's a crazy week. So,
yeah.
So enough chitter chatter. Let's get to the storytelling. Lynn, let's do that.
Should we do our podcast now?
Yeah, let's do our podcast.
The cat left, so I suppose it's.
I still see her. She's still in my sight of vision, but that's okay.
She's just chilling.
We'll just let her go. She'll enjoy it.
She'll probably use the bathroom.
Probably.
Her bathroom is down here. We're in our basement, and her bathroom's down here.
Yeah.
So it might get stinky.
Yeah.
You won't smell it, but we will.
We'll deal with it.
All right.
So for those of you who haven't listened to our show before or haven't listened in a while, the first half of our episode, Lynn's going to go to the subreddit on Reddit called Not the Onion, where there's crazy headlines and stories that you think would be fake and would show up on the site The Onion, but they're actually real. So Lynn's going to pick a few for us. We're going to decide which one we want to tell the story behind, and then we'll go from there. So, Lynn, what do you got for us this week?
50 Cent says he bought 200 front row tickets to a Ja Rule concert just so they'd be empty.
I heard about that story.
It just popped up. So
yeah,
I'd say it.
It just that's super. It's like
petty.
Petty, because this is what rap beefs have come to nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the 90s, like guys would be threatening to kill each other. Now it's just like, I'm gonna buy 200 tickets to your show so nobody shows up. That's like it's ultimate pettiness in like the weirdest way. That like rap is not what it used to be anymore.
Yeah, it's very it's like high school almost.
Yeah, very much like
Strange.
my dad's cooler than your dad, like that kind of stuff.
I don't know if it's even that, but more of like, I don't like this dude, he's a nerd, and so like they just fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
So the other article that pops up right away, Applebees is betting on stress eaters and it's paying off. So
betting on stress eaters.
Yeah, so I think basically like to keep their business alive, they're betting on people coming in and stress eating.
Huh. Okay.
And it's helping them.
Okay.
Because like their food's cheap, and like your Dollaritas that you get like every Wednesday or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's what it's referring to.
I'm actually interested in that. That actually.
I feel like you can make Applebee's very villainous in that.
Well, you know what? Why don't we go with that then?
I don't even get to do a third one this week.
I really like that.
I was going to tell you about the Utah lawmaker that doesn't recommend shooting up marijuana, but doesn't think it's a big deal. Did you hear about that, dude?
No, I didn't.
Utah lawmakers are going to be either voting in marijuana or voting it out and making it legal and stuff.
Yep.
So one of the lawmakers filmed himself smoking marijuana, and he goes, "Well, I don't recommend shooting it up, but it's no big deal." That's what he said, and it's like, you smoked it. Yeah. I don't know anyone who shoots it up, buddy.
Yeah, that's
it's not heroin.
Yeah, you don't inject THC like you do heroin. That's a little bit out there. So
you inject it in those good brownies.
You inject it in those brownies and cookies and sodas. Yeah,
you put it in butter, but whatever.
Yeah, pretty soon they're gonna have like a whole Whole Foods section based on like THC foods. Probably.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if like Trader Joe's out in Cali does that or something.
You mean THC Joe's?
Smoke 'em Joe's.
Smoke 'em Joe's. All right, so we're going to tell, for the first half, we're going to tell the story about Applebee's and their stress eating marketing. Clientele, yeah.
So Mark Applebee just one day was looking over the numbers of his restaurant franchise and went, man, oh man. This is looking a little scared.
So now, Mark Applebee, does he own all of the Applebee? Like, is he the CEO of the Applebee's
king of Applebee's?
He's King Applebee of the Applebee's Corporation.
He prefers everyone call him by that title.
King Applebee?
Yeah, so he's got like one of those little name stands on his desk, and it says King Applebee, and it's in the shape of a crown.
And instead of like royal fanfare, it's like just like some stupid Ted Nugent rock riff that plays every time he walks into a room.
Sure.
Just like
yeah, he is like a king that loves rock and roll, baby.
Because Applebee's is like, you're eating good in the neighborhood, kind of. That's their slogan. It's not like,
I wouldn't really. The cat's back. I wouldn't really. I wouldn't pair like your neighborhood with rock and roll, but let's do it.
Well, they try to be a very hip brand, a very like millennial brand. It seems like anymore. They try to cater to.
I guess with like the Dollarita and like the appetizers that are like half off and stuff. Because I remember in college we went there a lot.
We did, yeah.
After
9 p.m.
After 9 p.m. You and I both, I forgot.
Half price apps.
That like you and I would go there because I lived right near one.
Mm-hmm.
And my friends and I went so much that we had the same waitress every single time, and the one time she actually tried to hook us up with another table, and we were like, oh god.
Yeah, me and my friends would go for half price apps. Like, we go like after a movie or something.
Right. The Dollaritas stopped. Like they became a thing when I stopped going to Applebee's.
They happened like sometime this summer, and I think that was a direct result of Mark Applebee, King Applebee, excuse me.
Yes, and getting back on track.
Yeah.
It was a direct. Basically, Mark was like, you know what everyone has? Well, most people have $1.
Mm-hmm.
You know what people don't have? Tequila. So,
you know what I can give them? Cheap
watered down tequila.
Watered down tequila.
In fact, the girl that revealed Mark Applebee's Dollarita secrets.
It was Regina Applebee.
Regina Applebee, his cousin, and he was like, "That's it. Cut off her head," and by that he meant take away her apron. And she was fired. She was fired
very unceremoniously. Basically, she was just like kicked. She was thrown outside of the Applebee's corporate headquarters building, and then there was a sad guitar riff that played. It was like, but
I mean, what did she expect? You know, she gave away the ingredients of a Dollarita on Snapchat. So
yeah. So what
did Regina expect?
Those ingredients were a cup of water.
No, it was way more.
Oh, 2 cups of water.
It was like your low shelf tequila, and then like they made it in a giant bucket.
Ugh.
So it would be the lowest shelf tequila they had, and then like half a bucket of water,
Oh.
and then like
the shitty pre-made margarita mix or whatever.
Yeah, like margarita mix with like whatever flavor, and then more water.
Oh,
it was very watered down margaritas.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes.
So you would have to drink like 20 of them to get drunk.
Right, and I mean they're $1, so that's the point,
Yeah.
is that you spend like $20 on a drink.
But the thing about it was, it was genius because they announced this. I believe they announced this right around like finals crunch time of the spring semester for college students this year.
Right, and
so it was the perfect thing for Applebee's to get back on track, because all of these college students that are trying to get through finals and are just having a tough time, they're just like, fuck, I can't study for my biology exam. I'm like so stressed out. I need to go somewhere and have a drink or 20. And they're like, I've only got like $25 in my bank account because my mom didn't send me any money this month. Where am I going to go?
And that's when Applebee's would kick in their doors with a sombrero and maracas and go, Dollaritas!
It's a Dollarita.
And
Go drink it all the night.
And then they would continue to do that throughout the door until they had a conga line of college students.
They would just knock on every single door.
Going to Applebee's.
With just some man in a sombrero.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It was like way too hyped. Way too hyped to be there.
Cultural appropriation at its finest from Applebee's.
It's true. And then, that worked out really well. And he was like, all right.
That generated sales with the millennial market really, really well. They got them to come out and drink and eat. But the problem was they were drinking more than they ate because the drinks were so cheap. They were like just getting drunk, and
that's when the half apps came in.
Yeah, they decided, because half price apps was good, but then they decided to do half priced apps,
quarter priced apps,
which was only available from
fucking ridiculous.
The problem was it was only available from 9:46 p.m. to 11:22 p.m.
Wow, I mean they gave them roughly an hour.
But the thing was that Applebee's had done some very extensive market research to figure out the peak times of people who were coming in for half-price apps, and then decided to reward those people that came in during that exact specific time with the extra special deals. And the thing is, there was a special secret component to getting that deal that you had to do. You had to do 10 cartwheels inside of the restaurant
after having like $5 Dollaritas.
You had to have $5 Dollaritas and then do 10 cartwheels.
A lot of puking everywhere.
There was a lot of puking. The overhead costs of a lot of the franchises went up because of having to increase the cleaning costs. But it got people out there from that key time of 9:46 p.m. to 11:22 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they made a shit ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
From 11 or 12 p.m. to 9:45 p.m. during the day, to 9:45, they made like maybe a quarter of their sales. That hour and a half period, they made 90% of their sales. It was crazy.
It's bonkers.
It's crazy. Yeah. Applebee's is they're marketing geniuses.
And then they thought, okay, well, how can we get these kids to eat more?
Yeah.
I know.
It's like Cartman in South Park. How can I reach these kids?
Yes. And Mark Applebee had the greatest plan of all. Make the job economy shit. He's the reason why we have no jobs. So he went around to all of his friends.
How did he manage that to fuck up the entire job economy?
He went to John Home Depot and Steve Apple. And
you mean Tim Cook, who also moonlights as Steve Apple?
Yeah, and Sean Samsung. He went to Mr. Facebook.
Mark Zuckerberg, who moonlights as the superhero, Mr. Facebook.
Prince Twitter. Duke Instagram.
Also Mark Zuckerberg.
He's got two titles.
He
went over to all of his friends and was like, hey, buddies. Hey, buddies and subjects. Because I am the king.
So okay. I just want to, because you said he is the king. Yes. Is there like a monarchy for these monarchies? Like all of these individual kingdoms have one specific kingdom, like sort of a board of directors of all of these.
Sure.
of all of these
let's go
companies.
There. Let's have that in our lore.
So Mark Applebee is the king of all of these other companies.
He's the king of like all the other restaurant companies, maybe.
Okay.
And then he went to all the kings of the other.
So the king of the social media kingdom. The
king of the tech kingdom.
Yeah, the king of the home improvement kingdom.
Yeah, because I threw in Home Depot with
John Home Depot. And Mr. Facebook.
And Mr. Facebook. And AKA Duke of Instagram, AKA Mark Zuckerberg.
And then the king of the automotive industry, Tony Tesla.
Yes. And then
yeah, it's me, Tony Tesla. What do you want?
And just for sympathy, he invited Vinny Vine. Even though he's not doing much.
That was Mark Applebee's favorite social media platform. Unfortunately,
yeah.
it was.
He had a great following.
Oh yeah, he posted.
He posted all of the memes.
He posted a lot of memes of like Bad Luck Brian, like oh got to Applebee's at 9:45. Didn't get there in time for the half price apps.
It's funny that you say that because I'm pretty sure there is a restaurant who hired the original Bad Luck Brian and they're doing ads now.
I think it was Wendy's or McDonald's.
I thought it was like Burger King or something.
It was a fast food chain. I don't remember which one.
And it's like Bad Luck Brian all grown up.
Part of me wants to say it's Wendy's because Wendy's is very ahead of the curve with social media stuff like that.
I guess, but I thought it was lame personally.
Yeah,
I was like, that's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I remember a couple years ago when they had like their ads where there was a guy who was eating a burger and was like, eating a burger like a boss, and it was a Wendy's commercial where it was image. Yeah. I remember seeing a Vine where somebody watched that and she yells, "Stop! Fucking stop!" He's watching the commercial and it's great.
That's funny.
So
yeah, he met with all of his colleagues and subjects, Mr. Mark Applebee.
Yes.
And basically said, look, I need these kids to eat more, so could you just not hire anyone?
And could you just not make anything right now?
Don't make anything. Don't hire anyone. Just put everything on freeze.
Mm-hmm.
We have enough money. Who are we fucking kidding?
Let Applebee's handle it.
let me handle it, my precious people.
So with that, Applebee's decided they were going to try to take over every aspect of the typical millennial's life.
Mm-hmm.
So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of those shut down. Applebee's created their own app, Abbees. ABEEZ.
And what did that do exactly? What did the app entail?
It was basically a mixture of every single social media app known to man.
That sounds horrible.
You could post pictures. You could post vines. You could post tweets. You could post regular posts. You could write journals like LiveJournal. You could have a MySpace. You could have a MySpace page on your Abbees page. You could post. You could have like music. Like remember how on MySpace you could put like a music playlist and have a music player.
Oh, you can have your own HTML layout.
Exactly. You can do all that shit. You can do all that on your Abbees page.
The moms went crazy for it.
Yeah.
Because once Facebook shut down, they like basically lost their fucking mind.
Yeah.
And then
how am I going to connect with my son or daughter?
I miss Jody. She lives in Arizona. The only way I talk to her is through messages. She don't have a phone. She don't know how to use it.
Grandma Patty's stuck in Colorado, and I can't get a hold of her unless she's on Facebook.
You know I love to spy on your Aunt Susan, that cheeky little bitch. Your father don't know how to work it. I do his own Facebook.
Cheryl, how do I log on to the goddamn Facebook?
You don't need to know.
No, it says I need a second code. There's a code generator.
No, I'm your code. Don't worry
what?
about it.
How does that?
I'm your code.
What?
I own your Facebook.
How does that work?
I own your Facebook.
That's why both of our names are on the Facebook profile.
We share a Facebook. We're one of those couples.
Sidebar. That's the weirdest fucking thing that I've ever seen.
Like, I feel like that's just insecurities.
Like, I don't understand. Why would you share a Facebook page with somebody?
So you know that your boyfriend or girlfriend isn't messaging other people.
It's just so.
I think that's why.
It's just so weird.
Like, I think it's weird. It's like, why do you need to share anything?
That's the weirdest thing. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
So Abbees became the most popular app on the internet. It was number one.
But by force.
But by force. By force, of course. Oh, it also included a bunch of games too. It had a ripoff of Flappy Bird called Applebees, where it was just
it's just bees.
It was just the Applebee's logo that you had to keep from like having fallen into this giant pit of nothingness.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Since Apple stopped creating iPhones, There was the B phones.
Yep, the B phones.
And I believe the Applebee's like logo, besides like it being Applebee's, is just like an apple.
Pretty much.
So it was just a full apple instead of like an apple being bitten out of.
Yeah.
But like everything else looked the same.
It was pretty much the same.
Right.
Because Apple like lent them their design team and everything like that.
Apple was the first one to be like, sign me up, baby. I love fucking up people.
Yeah, the only
Have you seen my $15 phone, my $1,500 phone?
The only major difference they added is that that you have a dedicated Applebees app downloaded on every phone that you cannot delete, no matter how hard you try.
Can't delete. It has crazy updates. My bad. And it takes up like a good portion of your phone.
It takes up more than the operating system.
Right. And
it actually is the operating system. The Applebee's phone runs on Ab's OS.
And every time, like, so with the Dollaritas and the half price apps and the half price apps, you got notifications for every time they were happening.
Yep.
And then also it would automatically, Mr. Mark Applebee had his own take in universities.
Oh, okay.
So he partnered up with his universities and went, hey, do me a favor. Stop recommending jobs to these kids and instead make them work fucking harder. So then also your AB's app would remind you about how many tests and exams and how shitty you were doing in school. That way you could be like, all right, fuck it, let's drink.
and then when as soon as you're about to go drink, it would flash with a warning. It's like, warning, need to do 1 8-hour shift at your local Applebee's. It's like, what? What?
That's right. So now it came into the point of, hey, you want food here?
You got to work for it.
Work for it, bitch. So they had the employment rate of Applebee's skyrocketed.
While the unemployment rate at all other companies shot up tremendously.
I'd like to point out too, I believe servers at Applebee's get paid like it's like your minimum wage for a server, which is like $2.50 an hour or something.
And then
like
make tips.
Yeah. And so then what Mark Applebee did is he went to all of his adult customers who had fancy jobs and money and went, don't give them tips. Don't give them tips. And they were like, all right, we already don't do that, so the fuck ever.
This is turning into that episode of Kitchen Nightmares at Amy's Baking Company.
Oh, no, in that scenario,
the
owners took the tips.
Oh,
which was shitty.
They just told them not to tip. Okay.
No.
In this case, they just took the,
Yes. But at Amy's Bakery, they would take the tips.
They would take the tips, yeah.
And like their reason was like, well, they already get paid hourly. Why should they get the tip? I'm the one that made the food.
Yeah.
So it's like, whoa.
Yeah. So with all of this, it led to the highest sales that Applebee's had ever seen.
They were stacking in that money.
But the unfortunate part was the clientele they were drawing in were these very like on edge students that were like really trying to get through school and trying to get themselves a job. But they were getting even more stressed out by the fact that their life was being controlled by a single app on their phone and telling them where to go, what to do. Because it would literally, they'd be in the middle of class and then it would yell at them, go get a Dollarita, go get a Dollarita.
And then the freshman 15 turned into the freshman 50.
Yes.
So these kids were not only being enslaved, they were getting fat.
Yeah.
So they couldn't escape.
Because all the dining halls were being replaced by whatchamacallits, by Applebee's.
Yes.
Yeah. All the dining halls.
Evan's putting on my glove that I use for my drawing pad, and he's putting it on wrong, and I'm just. It's so fun to watch him struggle with something so simple. It goes on your pinky and your ring, and yeah, there you go.
I got it.
Yeah, you don't need that though. The drawing pad's not down here.
Anyway.
It's okay.
It's more aesthetic purposes. Anyway.
Why are you pointing your pinky at me? Like literally, that glove is so you don't smudge and fuck up your drawings in Photoshop. And he's saying it's for aesthetic reasons. Aesthetically, it's not functional in this scenario. I'm just saying. Anyway. Why is that down here?
I don't know. I think it was stuck in the computer when I put it down.
Anyway.
Yes.
So the one thing that Mark Applebee really didn't take into account is how rebellious millennials can be.
Mm-hmm.
If
Very
we
much
don't
so.
like something,
We will move on in a heartbeat.
we will find a way to move on. And if if the man tries and puts us down, we just rise up, baby.
Yep. We just don't care. We just move on. So with that, at a certain point, a lot of the millennials were just getting sick of it. They're like, Jesus Christ, this is so stupid. When is the next company going to come along and tell us, what can we do? Where are we going to go? And
So that's when they decided to hold super top secret meetings.
yes.
In the middle of the night, in the basements of their dorms.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was taking part in this.
It was like a secret society almost.
Basically, they were Skyping other people in different universities at the same time. It really became like a group effort. And they all started to band together and think, okay, how can we get rid of Mark Applebee and the Applebees franchise in general?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they decided just burn them down.
Yeah, but they knew they couldn't do it alone, so they had to recruit some higher powers, and that meant getting some of these other companies in the different kingdoms to join in. Tony Tesla was the first to agree. Tony Tesla was like,
he's all about the trends anyway.
he's just like, you got me. I'm your trend man. I'm your trendy boy. I'm the electric car boy. You're going to go from point A to point B on a little bit of electricity. You got me to do it for you, see?
And then they were like, all right, sew his mouth shut. So they showed Tony Tesla's mouth shut. The next person that didn't take much convincing, was Vinny Vine. He was dead anyway. Yeah. Like, he was doing fucking nothing.
He was just like, hey, any relevance I can get is perfect.
I'm a meme man.
You still watch those compilations on YouTube, kids? That's my fault.
I do it every night and cry.
I cry at what I've become because I've become a shell of my former self.
I live in a box now.
I make zero money. I work for Taco Bell, which is hell.
Mark Applebee is not happy that I work for Taco Bell because it's not Applebee's.
He wouldn't hire me.
That's why I live in a box.
Mark Applebee wouldn't hire me. I don't know why, but he wouldn't hire me.
Anyway, those memes, children.
You want memes? What are those? Oh, those are my clothes in the box on the street.
They are my Crocs that are no longer mine because the bum next door took them.
I got my Crocs repossessed last week.
It was the last thing I owned. My mother will not buy me another pair.
The police will laugh at me because I just sit there. And
They're the ones that go, what are those?
they are the ones that steal my things, but I can say nothing because they are the police.
So they just kind of worked up the ladder.
Have you ever had a man steal your chalupa from right out of your mouth?
I have. I thought he was trying to kiss me. Nobody loves me.
I thought he was trying to kiss me.
I just wanted some love, so I was down for whatever he was down for.
I was like, bring it in here, buddy.
Thought we were going to have a Lady in the Tramp moment. Instead, he just
he
took my chalupa.
Sucked it right out of my mouth.
Like a vacuum cleaner. That man's got lungs.
You ever been to an Oryx store, kid?
I would still kiss him.
Oh,
I thought we were done with that bit, but I'm glad we continued.
That was a fun bit. the downward spiral of Vinny Vine.
So they just worked up the ladder.
Yeah.
Until they secretly had all of the levels of power with them.
Yeah.
And then they were like, all right, we need to finally set a day.
Yeah.
We're going to do it on June 5th, a.k.a. Mark Applebee's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're going to do is just set fire to all of the Applebees. Mm-hmm. And then we're all going to march over to his mansion, which is just a pile of money.
Mm-hmm. He lives in a pile of money.
He just created it, kind of like you would a fort.
Yeah, just
it's
taking
a giant fort.
Stacks of hundreds and gluing them to one another.
Yeah,
and
because who the fuck needs that? Am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so they decided that they were going to march over to his money fort and dismantle it, grab all the money they can, and then just give him a wedgie and be like, listen, motherfucker, I need a job. I can't get 5 years experience if you don't get me a job that is entry level for my position.
If I want to be a mechanical engineer one day, I need to get actual experience, not be working the line at an Applebee's for the next 5 years.
They won't accept me.
So they finally, all of the people, all of the business leaders of all the different kingdoms make their way to Mark Applebee's mansion. And Mark Applebee is standing there. He's ready. He's got his Dollarita cannons aimed directly at the crowd.
What are those filled with?
They're filled with Dollaritas.
But how do you?
They're filled with Dollarita mix. They're just like giant. They're like giant hoses filled with Dollarita mix.
So it's almost like a fire hose.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, you're still wearing that glove, and I don't get it.
I
Do you just feel fancy with it?
Yes, I do.
You're pointing your pinky at me.
Exactly.
All right. So yeah, he was ready with his Dollarita cannons and his frozen apps.
Yep.
That would normally qualify for the half price apps or the quarter price apps.
It's the half price apps.
Quarter price.
Tomato.
Why make it more complicated?
But yes, he was ready. Mozzarella sticks and jalapeno poppers ready to go.
Just completely frozen.
Yep.
Solid.
Yeah.
And they started their march with their pitchforks and torches and saying, Applebee's sucks.
Applebee's is unfair. Mr. Applebee's in there, standing at the concession, plotting his oppression.
Well, actually, he's already
oppressed us
He's
quite
already
a bit.
oppressed us pretty well. So
Fuck him. SpongeBob never said that, folks.
Anyway. Oh my God, Mr. Krabs is just is Mark Appleby.
Oh my God.
Conspiracy theory.
Hey, what's up, you guys?
Hey, what's up, you guys?
Oh God. If you can't tell, we're millennials, folks. So yes, the crowd makes their march on Mark Applebee's mansion. They're getting pounded with Dollarita cannons. They're getting jalapeno poppers thrown at them at every which direction. They're just
one landed in the kid's eye.
Yeah, he was. Oh God,
that hurt, man.
It was like the beginning of Saving Private Ryan, except with all sorts of frozen appetizers and. There's
just as gruesome.
Just as gruesome because it wasn't blood. It was just marinara sauce. It was just marinara sauce.
These kids would be fine in like a week, but let me tell you,
it was just marinara sauce and salsa just everywhere in front of the house.
And finally, they made it to the
front door,
the front money door. And all they had to do was tear it down.
Yeah.
They were pocketing the money, of course, as they
Oh,
tore
yeah, of course, because this was like straight hundreds.
This is stacks of hundreds.
Yeah.
So, like, they would be stupid not to.
Mm-hmm.
They have to pay rent.
Yeah. So they finally corner Mark Applebee. They get all of his weapons away from him. They pin him against the wall. And, Mr. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, has him by the throat. And it's just like... Are you gonna undo all of this chaos you've done to the world? Are you gonna give these kids exactly what they need in life?
And Mark Appleby just laughed in Mark Zuckerberg's face and went, "No!" Ha ha ha.
So then Vinny Vine comes up and slaps him in the face, and he's just like,
"Smack him!"
God damn it. That was very good. That was very good. And then Tony Tesla comes up and slaps him with a battery.
Oh, Jesus. A car battery?
Well, more like a solar panel.
Oh, that's even worse.
He just takes one of the Tesla solar panels and smacks him inside the head with it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, literally everybody gets their turn just beating in Mark Appleby.
Home Depot just takes a 4x4.
A 4x4? A truck? No, that's actually Dan Ford.
That's Dan Ford, my bad.
Not our good friend Dan Ford. Dan Ford, the man who is the leader of the Ford Corporation.
Who looks surprisingly like Dan Ford.
Who looks surprisingly like our good friend Dan Ford, former guest on the podcast. But yes, they all get their turns beating him senseless until he's finally on the ropes, and they're all just like, Are you gonna just let it go now?
Never.
Until finally they had to bring out their secret weapon. The only person that could stop Mark Appleby.
The law?
The law.
And that's when the law came up.
The law being Sylvester Stallone in his Judge Dredd costume.
Yeah, that's a scene.
Because it's a reference to the film Judge Dredd, where he's like, "I am the law." Law.
Yeah, no,
it's a bad reference.
I get it. That was the worst of the Judge Dredd movies.
It was a bad reference.
It was a bad
movie. Can we rewind and pick a different reference for the law?
No. So Sylvester Stallone.
It's John Marston From the video game
No, it is Sylvester Stallone.
It's Dirty Dan.
It's Sylvester Stallone, dressed up as Judge Dredd, and he takes those futuristic handcuffs that are like basically iron bars.
Yeah.
And just slaps them on and goes, "I am the law." Law.
And then Anthrax's "I Am the Law" starts playing in the background.
And then
respect the badge. Yeah, he just starts playing in the background.
And then Mark Applebee is carried away.
Hauled
off to jail for
off to Joe jail?
Joe jail.
Joe jail.
Which is the worst types of jails where everyone just calls you Joe. And
what's up, Joe?
My name's not Joe.
You are hereby sentenced to 35 years of Joe jail, Joe. My name's not Joe.
I'm not Joe. It is now your name, Joe. Anyway, Mark Applebee, a.k.a. Joe Applebee, spent the rest of his life in Joe jail for basically fraud, I think. Some sort of fraud.
Deceptive advertising, maybe?
Deceptive advertising.
Yeah.
That's better.
I think that's better.
Lying to the kids. Don't lie to the kids.
Moral of the story, don't lie to the kids.
The end.
The end. Oh, man. Applebee's, please don't let this dissuade you from sponsoring us at some point. We do like you. We do like you. We indulge in your 2 for $20s and your
half price apps.
Your half price apps. Quite often.
We're not drinkers.
We're not drinkers, but
I mean, I'll take a good soda any day.
I'll come get a quesadilla burger at some point. You know.
Yeah, man.
I like that shit. Did they take it away?
The quesadilla burger.
Yeah. They never took that away.
I don't think so.
Because that shit's bomb.
It's one of my favorite burgers.
It's a good burger. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. So you want to take a break?
Well, that's what we do, right?
That's what we do.
Second half of the episode.
Second half of the episode. We take a break. We take a break between the first half and the second half and talk about something.
You normally talk about something because I don't do shit.
I got a friend of ours I want to promote. Some friends of ours I want to promote. So
how about you go promote them?
Well,
then?
I'll go promote them. So
all right, so promote them.
So
do it now.
I'm gonna
do
go.
It.
I'm gonna
do
go.
it.
I'm
do
gonna
it.
I'm gonna
do
go.
it.
I'm gonna go
do
promote.
It.
Will you let me get this out?
Do it.
I'm gonna go promote our friends, and then we'll be right back with the second half of Read Between.
Do it.
So stay tuned. Hey guys, Evan here to talk to you about a couple of our friends that have a very awesome podcast that we've talked about a while ago in the past, but they're now big sensations in the podcasting world, at least in our community, and we wanted to give them a fair shout out. So this week I want to talk about our good friends at the Improvised Wikipedia podcast. Yes, the Improvised Wikipedia podcast, where our two good comedian friends, Glenn Tiggle and John Lunger, they improvise random Wikipedia entries in an attempt to rewrite the entirety of Wikipedia off the top of their heads. Now, John Lunger is a very well-established improviser here in the Lehigh Valley. Glenn Tiggle is an amazing stand-up comedian who performs all around the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, PA, as well as around the country. Both of these guys are hilarious comedians, and their attempt to rewrite Wikipedia yields some very hilarious results. This past week, they just released an episode about Vincent Price. They rewrote his entire Wikipedia page, and that was very, very interesting, to say the least. They've done things from Cardinals to Cherry from the Pee Wee Herman show, Pee Wee's Playhouse. They've done all sorts of different entries, and they continue to just come up with weird stuff to talk about and rewrite the Wikipedia pages for. They just actually did their first live episode here at Steel Stacks in Bethlehem this past weekend. So I'm hoping they're going to do some more, because these guys are hilarious and they deserve to get out there for more people to see. So if you're interested in checking out this awesome podcast, you can find this podcast on iTunes by searching Improvised Wikipedia, or you can find them on their website at www.improvisedwikipedia.org. And be sure to look out in the future soon, because we've actually been talking to these guys. We may be looking at some sort of crossover event in the future where they come on our show, we go on their show. So stay tuned for that. That's in the works. We're trying to figure it out. But yeah, so go check out their show. It's a funny show. Make sure you leave a rating. Let them know Read Between sent you. And we hope you enjoy it. So with that being said, let's get back to the show and let's tell another story. And we are back from break. Lynn, how was your break?
I sat here scrolling through Instagram.
Nice. You find anything good on Instagram?
I was just looking at pictures.
You're just looking at pictures?
Yeah, my brother posted a picture of my mom's puppy.
Oh, nice.
He had a hangover.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Well, it was his birthday weekend after all.
It was.
Yes.
He's a Halloween baby.
Yes. Also, speaking of Instagram, if you want to follow this show on Instagram, follow us on Instagram at readbetweencast. We're trying to post more there.
I've been keeping it somewhat consistent.
Yeah, you know, it happens. Social media is hard. It's a very hard thing to deal with.
I run a lot of. I run like 7 accounts altogether.
Yeah, we both run quite a bit of social media.
A lot.
So yes, but make sure to follow Read Between Cast on Instagram. We'll be sure to post some fun stuff there in the future.
Yeah.
Yes. So you ready for the second half of the episode? Ready to tell another story?
Let's get it over with, because after this, guess what? We get to order food.
Yes.
And I get to finish cleaning my bathroom, so I
Yes.
have a nice and clean apartment. Well,
Yes.
this is not an apartment.
It's a house.
I live in a house.
Yes. So.
So
All right, so let's
get to it.
Let's get to it. So for the second half of the episode, if you haven't listened to us before, we go to a website called fantasynamegenerators.com, and on that website they have a book title generator that has a bunch of different genres, and it'll randomly generate some book titles for us. So we're going to spin on a few genres, pick a few titles that we like, and then we'll tell the one story with the title that we like the most. So Lynn,
yes.
do you want to give me a genre to start off with here to spin on?
Let's do some romance.
Romance. All right. Love is in the air. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And okay. So the list we have here.
Yes.
Let me run through this for you. So we have. We have Lady Love of Tomorrow, God Without Fear, Angels of Silver, Boyfriends of the Evening, Nymphs and Gods, Beloved and Husbands, Rise of Insanity.
How was that romantic?
I don't know. Creation of My Admiration, Exciting My Man, and Songs of Eternity.
I like Exciting My Man.
Exciting My Man. All right. So that'll be the one we stick with there. You want to give me another genre to spin on?
Give me that good adventure.
Adventure. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. With this, we have the titles of Hunter of Dreams, Lion with Strength, Women of the River, Guardians Without Flaws, Spiders and Traitors, Heirs and Armies. Heirs as in Heirs.
I was about to ask,
yes. Unity of the Lost Ones, Chase of the West, Write About the Demons, WRITE, and Screams in the Stars.
Screams in the Stars.
Screams in the Stars. All right, and one more genre to spin on. It's a tough choice, I know.
Let's do children.
Children. All right. One. Come on. Work for me here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And your choices are Owl of Miracles, Wizard in the Forest, Babies of the Sun,
Oh, God.
Foxes of My Land, Ducks and Little Dragons, Sheep and Puppies, Sands of Mystery, Flower of My Imagination, Gift from My Dad, and Crazy with My Fish.
Crazy with My Fish, please.
All right. All right, so we got 3. So your choices are Exciting My Man, Screams in the Stars, or Crazy with My Fish.
You know what? I still really like Exciting with My Man.
Exciting My Man.
I'm sorry, Exciting My Man.
Okay, so that'll be what we go with. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the first and final time, we present to you Exciting My Man.
So Tabitha just really was so excited to have Jeffrey as her boyfriend. And she just really wanted to excite him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get that good juice flows pumping. Yeah, that's a thing that's in
Those
your
are
body.
words. Those are words. Jeffrey did not live a very exciting life. Jeffrey lived a rather boring life before he met Tabitha.
Right.
Jeffrey, a lot of the times, was just found sitting on his couch by himself, not doing anything. He wouldn't really. He would maybe read.
Mm-hmm.
He'd maybe do some yard work. Nothing very exciting. He lived a very unexciting life.
Dull man.
Very dull man.
So
he got the nickname Dullard.
Yeah, that even though that doesn't even rhyme with his name.
Yeah.
Dullard Jeffrey, that doesn't even make sense.
No.
He would say to the mirror, and be like, I'm better than that. They can't.
The most exciting part of his day came when he would scream at himself in the mirror.
Yeah, just to be like, you're better than this. You're not a dullard. You're a daisy. You're a daisy.
You're a daisy.
So Tabitha tried a lot of things. First, she was like, "Let's try roller coasters," and he was like, "Nah."
That was the first. First, okay.
Well, to excite him.
Okay. Yeah.
And then she was like, "All right, that did nothing." And then she was like, "Let's try bungee jumping."
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Didn't really work.
Okay, let's try like race cars.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. She was like, "All right." None of like the normal exciting things that people do excite this man.
Yeah.
So let me just go fucking all out.
Yeah.
And lock him in a room without his consent or his knowledge. And he just has to get out. His own escape room. Perfect.
So if I may ask, where did she build this? Where did she put this room?
She dug out a basement.
By herself?
Yeah, so she lived in like a rancher style home, which normally don't have basements.
Yeah.
But she was like, nah, fuck that. And dug out a basement.
So basically every day while he was at work, she just took a jackhammer to the floor and just dug deeper into the earth.
She sung that song that the dwarves sang in Snow White.
I don't
You dig, 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 dig.
It did not sound like you said dig. It sounded like you ding, 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 ding.
Well, it kind of does sound like that. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna play it real fast. It's like you dig, 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 dig. I haven't seen Snow White in a while.
Oh my God, that was that sounded like the dwarves though. That was great. Holy crap!
Dig song.
So, wow. Okay, that's hilarious.
I pulled it up, people. Hold on. We are getting election ads before I can play this song.
Play it in the microphone. There we go.
I'm not joking.
No, it does sound like they're saying ding though.
Let's just say that. That was her anthem as she dug out the basement.
That's like the first instance of like sound effects. No.
No, your sister.
Your sister, Emily.
Your sister broke that streak.
Yeah. So yes, to that tune, she dug out. You okay over there?
I'm still laughing about it. You dig. I'm sorry. Anyway, so yeah, she dug out a basement with a decent sized like ceiling. It was like a basement with like a 9-foot ceiling.
Yeah. It was like an 8x8 room with a 9-foot ceiling.
Yeah, she was like, it doesn't have to be spectacular.
Yeah, there was the ceiling was a little, it raised up the floor a little bit, unfortunately. So there was like a little bit of a step in the middle of their kitchen that they had to deal with. But, I mean,
that's normally in a rancher anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So she even laid down concrete, did the insulation, all of that, and then she started putting together the puzzles. She wasn't a clever woman. She did her homework.
She watched a lot of Saw movies and then realized, wait, I don't need to be that violent.
I don't gotta kill him.
Yeah.
I just want to
get his heart pumping a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. She watched sort of a mixture. She watched both like Saw and then like Dora the Explorer, and she's like, how can I find the happy medium between these two?
I'm just picturing Jigsaw singing the Dora the Explorer. Do Dora, do Dora, do Dora, do Dora, swiper no swiping, swiper no swiping. Oh man!
It's like, I want to play a game. What letter is in the sky? Do you see an L? Do you? Good job. That's basically what it would be.
Oh no! Here comes what was Swiper? A fox?
A fox.
Oh no! Here comes some weird ass fox. He took my camera. You can't see me. You can only. Oh, he took my mic.
He took my damn tricycle. God damn it. Oh man, sweet Billy the Puppet reference. We're so funny. Anyway, so yeah, she spent all this time crafting all these puzzles, making them a mixture between Dora the Explorer and Saw without the maiming or the educational intent. And
And they were pretty good puzzles.
They were pretty good puzzles, yeah. Like, probably on par or better than any typical escape room you'd be in.
She even thought about maybe, like, selling the space when she was done. You know, make an extra buck or two.
Yeah, definitely renting it out or leasing it or something.
Yeah. And so she waited until, what was his name?
Was it Jerry?
Was it? Yeah, let's say Jerry. I forgot his name.
It sucks. I hate when that happens.
So she waited until Jerry fell asleep. And then she was like, all right, let me wrap him up in a blanket so he's nice and cozy.
Mm-hmm.
So she wrapped him up in a
blanket. It was Jeffrey, excuse me.
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey.
Now I remember.
Yes, sorry.
So she wrapped Jeffrey up in a blanket, nice and cozy, and dragged him down in the basement.
She put some chloroform over his mouth just to make sure he was... Just to make sure.
Who was knocked out well. And when Jeffrey woke up, he was in a cemented basement.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing he did was get up and be like, there's no bathroom.
Yeah, because Tabitha, unfortunately, she didn't have the time to run plumbing lines down to the basement, so...
Yeah, she didn't put a fridge in there. She didn't really put... She was like, well, hopefully you can get out in like a day, right? And
she did leave a chamber pot, though, which unfortunately was just a bucket.
Yeah, I know. Well, that normally is what a chamber pot is in a sense.
Yeah.
So he was like, all right, well, I guess I'll just take my morning shit in this bucket.
Yeah.
And he pooped.
Yeah.
And that's when the first video started playing, in which made his bathroom time a little bit faster than normal.
It was Tabitha. She was wearing a baby mask.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, again, she was trying to find the happy medium. She had like the voice changer where it was like a deep voice, but it was like a baby mask. So it was silly enough, and it was like, huh, that's funny, you know, to kind of like. But it did start to get Jeremy's heart pumped. Jeffrey, God damn it.
Jeffrey would be offended.
Jeffrey would be very offended. It got Jeffrey's blood pumping, got him going. He's like, oh shit, okay, I gotta listen to this. So Tabitha was like, your first test is to get the padlock off of this chest in front of your toilet, also known as a bucket.
And then little panels from the floor came out, and out came a chest.
Mm-hmm.
And then before Jeffrey knew it, he started noticing a puddle forming in the corner opposite to him.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, oh, there's a leak down here? Well, there's no plumbing, so what's going on? And she goes, by the way, this chamber is slowly filling up with water. Better hurry.
Yeah.
And then the drip came faster.
Yep.
And
then the timer starts going on the television for 5 minutes. And then he like finishes up. He's like, oh, no toilet paper, but no time to hurry. No time to finish this.
I'll wipe later.
Yes. So he frantically starts running around this room trying to find anything. There's some writing on the walls. It just random letters and numbers. But he somehow he has the wherewithal to kind of just start pushing on the wall to see if there's any of those, like, you know, soft portions of the wall that would like pop out with something.
So he was like knocking on.
Yeah, he was knocking, trying to find the hollow points of the wall. He found one. He pushed on it, and out comes this wooden box. And there's like there's like one of those letter locks on it that you have to like put in a code for. And then a clue flashed on the screen, and it was just like, what was the meal you had on our first date? Now, unfortunately for Jeffrey, he didn't have a great memory. He had a really bad long-term memory. Mm-hmm. So him thinking that far back wasn't very easy for him.
I mean, they were only dating for 2 months, but give Jeffrey a break.
Yeah, come on. You know, who remembers what they had to eat on their first date?
Do you remember?
Yes, I believe I had like chicken parmesan or something like that.
Oh, okay.
You had this like ham and pea pasta at the...
I thought it was chicken and pea.
Or, yeah, I think it was chicken. It had peas in it, I know, because you were like picking around the peas. But it was pasta with peas in it. Look at that, see?
It was like a chicken Alfredo.
Yeah. It was like an Alfredo.
Pea something.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so he had a lot more trouble than I did figuring that out. He sat there for like 20 minutes. He like put in like lemon. No, wrong. Put in like apple. Wrong.
He was like, I know poop. Nope.
No. And then a clue, and then another letter flashed on the screen. Why would I eat poop? In all caps. With like question mark, exclamation, question mark, exclamation.
It could have been fancy. Isn't that basically what truffles are?
No. Well, I mean, it's like, isn't that like poop from a mushroom? I don't know.
That was poop from a pig.
Oh, one of the two. I don't know.
Anyway,
he kept getting way off track.
He was like, all right, I think we went to like an Italian place.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Maybe it was ravioli. Types that in, didn't work.
Penne.
Penne? Nothing. Lasagna? Because, who the fuck orders a lasagna?
Yeah.
Like, literally, lasagnas are so easy.
Yeah.
And, of course, he ordered a lasagna. Because, pop, there goes the lock. It opened.
And then it turned on, and then it had this remote in there, which had an off switch. He flipped it off, and the water stopped coming in. And then he heard a drain starting to suck out all the water. So Tabitha comes back on the screen in the baby mask again. It's like, well done, Jeffrey. You've made it through the first task.
And he goes, is this Tabitha? Am I talking to Tabitha?
He's like, and then Tabitha's like, I don't know what you mean. I don't know why you would think it'd be me.
Well, because you were asking questions about her first date, and then you got mad when I typed in poop.
It's not me. I know Tabitha, but I'm not Tabitha.
But why are you asking questions about dates?
Now is not the time. Do you want to escape or not?
Yeah, but are you Tabitha?
No, I'm not. Here's your next task.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, there's this. The walls start to close in very slowly, because two of the walls are on a track.
And then, as the walls close, his bucket in the corner.
It tips over.
Tips over.
He's just like,
and he's
shit.
like, oh no, I'm not gonna get that out.
And then Tabitha's like, you have 2 minutes to figure out how to stop these walls from moving. And then video shuts off and timer starts on the TV. It's like, oh, great. All right. As he's wading through the shit water, trying to get through the room, he looks at the letters on the wall as they start coming closer and closer to him. And he realizes they're all jumbled up, but he picks up a pen and paper that was on the like little mattress in there, and he just starts writing down all the letters and numbers. And he figures out that it comes out to like an address, and then he realizes that he has to figure. And then once he figures out, is this an address? Tabitha comes back on the screen and is like, "You need to figure this out. What was the address of the first place that we met up after?"
I think this is Tabitha. You keep saying we.
It's like, I don't know. No. I meant, where did you and Tabitha meet?
Why are you asking questions about Tabitha?
Now is not the time. You have a minute left. So
he started thinking about it.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, well, once a week I go to the post office, and then I go get some bread, because I only eat bread. And then sometimes I'll
go to Tabitha's house.
I'll go to Tabitha's house. Well, this has to be before I met Tabitha.
Yeah.
Maybe it was that one time I took a detour through the park and pooped in the public toilets. And he put 2 and 2 together and went, well, Tabitha doesn't like bread, and she doesn't like letters. So it must have been that restroom.
Tabitha doesn't like bread, and she doesn't like letters. So my deductive reasoning leads me to believe it was this public restroom.
Yeah. And would you know, Tabitha was waiting for the women's bathroom to be cleaned when Jeffrey. Fuck.
God damn it.
He's so boring, I can't remember his name.
Jeffrey would be so mad at us. But he really wouldn't be, because he wouldn't care.
When Jeffrey exited out of the male bathroom, grabbed his backpack that he left outside because he's a fucking lunatic, and took out a slice of bread and offered it to Tabitha. And and that's how they met.
Yeah, and then finally he blurts out, "Women's restroom, 2176 Lub Lane."
And Tabitha came on the screen and went, "Correct." And the wall stopped. And then, whoop! But there was still that shitty mess in the corner.
Shitty mess in the corner from the bucket that fell over. Just like, damn it. And then you finally hear the screen come on. And Tabitha's like, you made it this far. Congratulations. You have one final task.
Okay, I got another question.
We'll address the Tabitha situation.
Are you Tabitha?
No, just listen to what I have to say.
I think you're Tabitha.
No, I'm not, and you'll find out why soon.
Okay.
You're
Tabitha.
Shut up and let me tell you what's going on.
Okay, Tabitha.
Your final task is to go find Tabitha and tell her you love her.
Hey, Tabitha.
I'm not Tabitha.
Hey, Tabitha.
I'm not Tabitha.
Hey, Tabitha.
I'm not Tabitha.
Then take off your mask.
No.
Hey, Tabitha.
This is my real face.
Hey, Tabitha.
This is my real face.
Tabitha. You're Tabitha. You're my Abitha. We listen to Abba while we eat crab. You're my Tabitha. Tabitha. Hey, Tabitha. I love you.
That's all I've ever wanted to hear.
All right.
And you seem so excited to sing that song.
It's a song I sing to you every night.
You seem so excited, though.
Yeah, I'm excited to get out of this room that smells like dookie.
You know what? Fine. And then the roof opens, and a ladder comes down, and it leads up. Jeffrey climbs up out of the room. He comes up crying. Tabitha's in the living room in front of a camera crying.
And he hugs her and starts swaying back and forth and starts singing the Tabitha song again.
Singing the Tabitha song.
And then once it's done, he stops and goes, "You want some bread?"
And they lived happily ever after.
The end.
The end. Oh, man, what people will do for love nowadays.
I know. Love is just,
Love is full of traps and shit buckets and...
Tip over.
Tip over.
And singing about...
ABBA
while eating crab. Yeah.
That was a good song. That was a good improvised song.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this week's episode of Read Between. Another fun episode. 2 fun stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Evan, what you got going on?
Oh, God, right now? Right now I've got the Improv Comedy Power Hour that I'm still a part of every second and fourth Saturday over at Steel Stacks. If you want any information on that, you can go to www.steelstacks.org/comedy to find out any of our upcoming shows. I also run the twice monthly Brouhaha show with a bunch of friends over at Allentown Brew Works, Fegley's Allentown Brew Works in Allentown, Pennsylvania, every second and fourth Tuesday of the month. Our next show is on Tuesday, November 13th, which is a week from tomorrow when this episode is going up. So if you want to come check that out, make sure you follow us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/BrouhahaComedyLV, I believe. Or just search Brouhaha, and we'll make sure to put links wherever we're at. So come check us out there. If you want to find me on Twitter, you can find me on Twitter at E_Williamson93. I post my musings there. I retweet a lot of silly shit. So make sure you go there if you're looking for some silly retweets. Lynn, what do you got going on? Where can people find you on the internet?
All I got going on are these podcasts, which we're going to tell you about anyway, so it doesn't matter. You can find me on Twitter and Lynn, AYNNELNN. If I do anything on the internet, that's where I post it. Check it out and stuff.
Check it out, brah.
Check it out, brah.
Yeah.
As for this podcast, you can follow us on Twitter, you can follow us on Facebook, you can follow us on Instagram, all at readbetweencast.
Yes.
With Facebook, I think if you just search Read Between Podcast,
if you do, it's facebook.com/readbetweencast.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep.
So it's all Read Between. Read Between.
It's all Read Between. Read Between. We watched Bohemian Rhapsody yesterday, so we're in the Queen mindset.
My bad. Read Between
That's
Cast.
okay. That's okay.
We also have another podcast called Nostalgia Cops.
Yes.
Where we talk about childhood shows. We just got done watching Johnny Bravo and it sucked.
Spoiler alert, it sucked.
It was bad.
Yeah, real bad.
That came out on Friday.
Yes.
You can find that on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, on Google Podcast, on Pinecast, and on Stitcher.
Yes.
So go ahead and take a listen. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's, this one isn't fun. I was literally holding my head in my hands.
Yeah, she almost, she was zoning out in the middle of recording it.
I was like, I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
So go ahead, and follow all that jazz, man.
Yeah, you can find that show on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook at Nostalgia Cops. So twitter.com/Nostalgia Cops, Instagram.com/Nostalgia Cops, and Facebook.com/Nostalgia Cops. You can find this show every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Spotify, on Stitcher, on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts. I keep wanting to say iTunes.
Same.
It's the same thing. Google Podcasts as well as Pinecast. Check us out. Leave a rating. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. Really, let us know what you think. Leave some feedback wherever you listen because it really helps us out. Lets us know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. And if you have any feedback you want to send to us a little more directly, we do have a Gmail, which is readbetweencast@gmail.com. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, feel free to email us there. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. So I think with that being said, that's going to do it for this week's episode.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I threw it to Lynn, and she wasn't ready for it.
I was making a cape out of, that glove you were wearing earlier?
Yeah.
I tied the 2 finger holes together and made a cape on my microphone.
Oh, man. It's going to fly away now.
It's a super microphone.
It's a super microphone now.
Yeah, that's it for us.
Yeah.
So we will see you guys next week.
Yes. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week for episode 40.
Bye. We love you.
We love you. Have a good week. See ya.